People trying to plan the date and get numbers. I don't even like to say getting a number. Plan a date. A number or Instagram should be an afterthought because you have a date set up. And that date should be set up after there's flirting, there's attraction, there's a connection. Why the hell would this girl ghost you at this point?
What if the biggest heartbreak was actually the beginning of your transformation? Welcome to the Glen Gilbert Connection, where we discuss relationship wisdom for the seasoned man and woman. I am your host, Glen Gilbert. Today's guest is Jared Laurence, founder of Modern Flirting. Do I have that right?
Formerly Modern Flirting, now it's called Modern Success.
Modern Success, perfect, thank you. Yeah. Modern Success, dating and lifestyle coach, and a man who turned rejection into reinvention. From being the shortest kid in class and struggling to make friends to building a global coaching brand that helps people attract high-quality partners and reclaim their confidence, Jared's story is proof that healing is possible and powerful. If you've ever felt stuck in your love life, unsure how to rebuild after betrayal, or ready to start over with clarity and confidence, this episode is for you. Hello, Jared. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your background. How'd you get here?
I grew up bullied my entire childhood. I was the shortest kid in class. I was the fattest kid in class. It was not a good mix. I just didn't really have friends. I was a kid that in high school, I was playing Magic the Gathering by myself in my mom's basement. I went to one house party that I had two friends in high school. One of them invited me to a house party. And then as soon as I walked in, the girl looked at him, looked at me and said, "Why did you invite Jared?" Like right in front of me, as if I wasn't there. I was tossed in a trash can. I was picked on. One girlfriend my entire teenage years, and I lost her to another guy. She ended up getting with some guy like 8 years older than us. It wasn't going anywhere. And I remember prom night. I've seen the movies. This is where everybody loses virginity. I'm still a virgin at this point. I'm like, for sure, I'm going to get it, now. And I found a girl outside of my school who's never been to prom before. So I was like, this is perfect. I found her on MySpace. And for all my old guys out there, you all know MySpace, right? On millennials. And so I found her on MySpace and she came to prom with me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to escalate, nothing. And she just started talking to the girls there the whole time. And it ended with us going to the after party because everybody's invited. So I'm like, okay, for sure, this is my moment. And I see her talking to this guy, Daniel, at the after party and smoking a cigarette with him and just keeps talking to him. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave and go to pretend I'm going to the hotel. And I told my one friend, go let her know, hey, I'm leaving and she needs to come with me because I'm her ride, right? She left all her stuff in my car. And he goes in there and he comes back out and looks at me and he says, just go. And I go, what do you mean just go? I'm a ride. Like I have to take her home. What are you talking about? He goes, Daniel just walked in the bathroom holding her hand and she followed him in and they locked the door. And to this day, to remember where I've come from, I still have her prom dress. To this day, I've kept her prom dress. And I still get the reminder of just like how far I was able to come.
Wow.
And basically I was at a loss. And so I go into college, and college is supposed to be the time where you find yourself and everything works. And nope, it didn't. I pledged a fraternity. I was the only one they said they didn't think it was a good fit for. After hazing us and messing with us, they said no. So I couldn't even buy my friends.
Wow.
And I was giving up hope, and I was in Barnes and Nobles, and all of a sudden I see this book, The Game. And a lot of people out there might have heard of it. A whole story about these secret society of pickup artists. Mm-hmm. And I'm trained to be a therapist. I'm in psychology. So I'm like, this appeals to both. Like one, this is like real world psychology at its finest. Like this is the kind of stuff that they would never do in a school, like you never talk about in a school. And two, I'm like, could I do it? Like, is this real? So I threw myself at it. I read everything I could, which wasn't much at the time. I got on the forums. We called them a lair back then, which is creepy as it sounds. And I started finding these guys to go out with. And I completely changed my whole identity. I was wearing eyeliner and black nail polish and all this rocker gear. And I was doing anything the book said. I was like, I will try anything. I'm like 21 at this point. Mm-hmm. And one thing kind of led to another. And I started getting pretty good. And people started noticing me through these very clearly manipulation tactics. So some of it's good. I mean, it's fine. But like there's some stuff I wouldn't teach these days. But like I started approaching women left and right, and bit by bit by bit, banging my head against the wall, figuring this out, getting any mentors I could to learn from, either directly or indirectly. And then finally, I was recognized in the scene. I was never tend to be a coach. There's a small company here called Miami Dating Coach, and they recognized me from one of my posts, and they offered me a job. And I'm like, no, I'm not that good. Like, what are you talking about? And I go, listen, we'll pay you 25, which is a lot back then. We'll pay you $25 an hour to just do what you're doing already. Go out to these bars, go out to these clubs, and push guys to approach. I'm like, sold, enough said. And then it just became this rabbit hole. I mean, I can go on and on, but like of meeting all the greatest seducers in the world, being around the top promoters, local celebrities, every known dating coach possible. Like, I just started going anywhere and everywhere on this discovery, and had the most wildest, craziest 20s you could possibly imagine. And then started simmering down in my 30s, where I realized I was completely broke. And I'll just give you one more little like origin story there. So I was at this point, I'm like 33. I'm in San Diego, and I'm still a dating coach. That's all I've known, but I'm making about $2,000 a month. I'm just basically borrowing money from my parents and borrowing money from my friend just to survive, because the guy I was with was just an awful businessman. Like, he just had no idea what he's doing. And I'm really good at this, but no one knows who I am anymore other than people in the scene. And I'm like, what is going on? And like, this shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be the case. We're not helping enough people. I'm getting nothing. And like all this grief. So finally, I'm like, you know what? I've worked for other people long enough, because I got in this at 21. I've been a coach since 21 to 33. So I've been passed around like a peace pipe from different companies. And so finally, I'm like, I'm just going to do it myself. And it was one of the scariest things I ever did. Picture this. I had $5,000 to my name. I'm in $30,000 of debt. And I don't know anything about running a business. Nothing. I'm like, I don't know about marketing or operations. I don't even know who Gary Vee was, nothing. And then I'm like, I have to get this down. And I went through my next phase of like, I will figure this out. I figured out women, and I put myself back in my old 21-year-old self. And I go, you did it then, do it again. Just figure it out. But this time it's like, do or die. Like, you got to pay rent. So it was more like a gun to the head kind of feeling, right?
Sure.
And I did the first thing I could think of. I'm like, I'm going to find whoever's around I can learn from. And I found this guy, local business coach. And of the $5,000 I had left, I gave him $4,000 of it. Okay. Because in my mind, it was like, look, either it's a slow decline where I'm going to be penniless, like, and eventually anyways, or I go all in and I figure this out.
I was just going to say that you're going all in. Yeah.
I'm going all in. I was like, it doesn't matter whether I'm going to lose it now or later. I may as well give it my best. Right. And within 4 months, we hit 6 figures. And back then, Modern Flirting, and we've changed it to Modern Success now. And since then, we've helped, I think, like over 6,000 guys through my program, and just been ramping up ever since. Well done.
Well done indeed. Good for you. Yeah, it sounded like you focused on your purpose. You were just kind of out there doing your thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, I need to have a purpose before I.
It's crazy, but that purpose both times came from like really feeling I hit rock bottom. And something is like, that's such a gift that you don't see at the time. Like, both times I was like, my password to my computer when I was 20 was life sucks. And I realized I had to start my own business. I knew nothing.
Right.
Part of me, I mean, I'm not going to say it's like suicidal, but like as close to that border as you can. I was completely like, I don't know what I'm like. I was just, my whole identity was shook. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to work at Starbucks. Like, I don't know what's my future.
Right.
And there's something really magical when in the moment, everything is hating it. Everything is just like, you're freaking out at every bad emotion possible. But when you realize there's nothing to do other than get to work and figure it out, magic happens.
Right.
And you'll be so surprised at what you're capable of.
The motivation's off the charts at that point.
It's not even, I don't even think it's much. It's do or die.
Right.
It really felt like do or die. It was just like, I like when I got into picking up women and learning attraction, it was like, I will figure this out or die trying. I refuse to go back to the old nerdy Jared with money and running a business. I was like, I have to figure this out, or what? I have no other option. Right. Go back at 33, go live back and live with mom and dad. Like, that was my option. Right. So I'm just like, I have to do it.
Right.
And then when you strip away all the I came up with 21 success mantras I live to this day, and I have all my students pinned on their fridge as part of the curriculum. And I live by these mantras every day, and I've been able to get successful at pretty much anything I set my mind to.
Love it. Yeah, I think it's really important to find that purpose, especially when you hit rock bottom. That's the motivation to start building yourself back up. I think it's really important. Yeah. So you've shared that your journey began with heartbreak and rejection. What was the turning point? Well, we kind of talked about this turning point that made you commit to transformation.
Just realizing there was help out there. That's really what the book, The Game. I was like, these are real people. Like, this is not a fiction. It's nonfiction. Like, this is happening, right? Supposedly. So in my mind, before that moment, I thought of like going up to girls was me doing a James Bond movie. I'm like, that's not a real. No one does that. That's not a. No, you can't just walk up to a girl and charm her and get her number and make out with her, and like, that's not a thing. That's the movies. That's fantasy. Right. And then all of a sudden, the glass shattered. And I was like, no, this. You can do this, right. And just understand I can do it. I was like, well, now I got to figure it out. Just realizing it's possible.
Yeah, the game. It's The Game by, is it Neil Strauss?
Yes, Neil Strauss.
Yeah, The Game by Neil Strauss. Yes, I've read it. It's really good. It's really enlightening. Really brings things to light. How does someone rebuild their self-worth after a breakup or emotional betrayal?
Okay, so
there's a few
things
we're gonna dive deep early, Jared. This is what we do.
Yeah, I see it. So all right, no more. All right, no foreplay. So after something like that, you're going to be hurting. You're going to have a mourning and grief period. It is normal. It is natural. Everybody, we all know this. The key thing is, number one, understanding you have to find yourself as an individual versus as a pair, because so much of your identity, either consciously or unconsciously, was seeing yourself as a pair. So it literally feels like part of you is ripped away. And you're like, well, who am I now as a single? The game is new and different. You might have been single. You might have been in a relationship for 20 years, even 5 years. You'd look back, you're like, I got to get back out there again. I got to approach. There's apps. How do I do these? Like, it's all new. It's all scary and new. And you got to figure out who you are as a single. So I do believe there should be some time to just kind of like process what happened. Okay. Now that that's said, I'm going to say something a little probably controversial. And that is, I'm sure you've asked this question to a lot of people, and I'm going to take a wild guess and say a lot of them talk about the inner work that needs to be done, the healing, the mindset, the working on yourself. You got to work on yourself. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to preface this by saying, sure, yes. I'm also going to say, what the does that really mean? Mm-hmm. If we're not meditating and journaling and just sitting on a couch thinking, what does that mean? I did not get successful at any of this by sitting around working on myself. So I call it outer work. Mm-hmm. If you're fat, get your ass in the gym. If you're broke, learn high paying skills, get out there and get paid and learn how to make money. If you are hurting and you're like, hey, I want to be in a relationship again and I want to get better with women, start learning how to approach, meet, attract women. It's not going to magically happen. They're not going to knock on your door. The sad fact is, and this is the hard truth a lot of people don't want to swallow, lots of people die alone. My aunt, unfortunately, was one of them. I got to see it firsthand. I always talked about it. And 2 years ago, I saw it firsthand where she turned 80 and she had no husband. She had no children. If it wasn't for me and my father, she'd have no family by her side on her final moments. Right. It's horrifying for me to think about things like that for some people out there. And even if you have kids and even if you have other family, it's something different about your life partner there with you, that comfort, because your money's not going to go with you. Your health is going to fade. At the very end, that's who's going to be there. So for a lot of guys, I think, at least a lot of guys I talk to, there's a lot of settling. And I think that if the relationship didn't work, chances are you knew something was not right. You understand. If she cheated on you, then obviously she's not the girl for you. What kind of, would you want to be with someone like that? If you cheat on her, obviously you don't respect her. You don't want to be with her, right? Something's not, no one breaks up because things are good. Right. Okay. Something's broken. So chances are people need to actually say, you know what, instead of just hoping stars align and magic happens, let me take this area of life seriously and figure it out and actually get better at it. So you don't have to deal with this heartbreak and again, or if you do, worst case scenario, you still know the skills to be like, hey, it sucks. This person's not with me, but I don't have to ever fear being alone and not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do, meeting with a girl. You always know you'll be able to do it, because the three non-negotiables in life should be, I think, for every man: your health, your wealth, and your relationships. I think that you can't find your purpose if these three are in flux. Obviously, we saw me come to crisis with relationships. We saw me come to crisis with wealth, health. I've been obese. Luckily, I got that down. Not going to say I'm perfect yet, but working on it. But for some reason, we understand as a society, hey, I'm not in good health. Let me go to a doctor. Let me go to a trainer. Let me find a nutritionist and get this handled. We understand, hey, I'm not doing well in business. Let me find a mentor. Let me find a coach. Let me find someone who can show me, or hell, even career. Let me go to college and learn from someone and get this knowledge to figure out how to make money. But the relationship, well, no, that should just be chemistry. That should just be stars align. That should just be natural. If it happens, it happens. And it's like, or you understand it's a skill set like anything else in your life. There's still that, it's like the last piece that's still like that mystery Disney feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Kind of like therapists were in the 90s. In the 90s, if you said you were going to a therapist, it was like, are you crazy? What's wrong with you? A therapist? What the hell? Now it's like a cool thing. It's like, oh, you go to therapy. All right. You're so evolved. Like it's like a badge of honor now. Right.
Right.
I think I hope at least that's the route dating coaching is going to go, because at the end of the day, what I'm teaching my guys is social intelligence, emotional intelligence. The way I try to teach it to women, like, I'm making these guys less creepy for you. You're welcome.
Right.
I'm making them better.
The way I understand it is, by the time a woman gets to 21, they've probably had interactions with so many people that it's more people than I will ever have in my lifetime. Just because of how, men approach women and how men are supposed to approach women. Like, I'm not going to have anywhere close to what, a 21-year-old woman is going to have, in the first, 10 years of her life, 7 years of her life, that kind of thing. So yeah, they're already well advanced. So they kind of got it down, is how I look at it. Whereas men, it's like, well, we've got society, we've got Disney. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? And it just backfires. It just backfires.
Yeah. Men focus on IQ. Women tend to focus on their SQ and EQ.
Right. You teach people how to attract high quality partners. Two parts to this one. How do you define a high quality partner? And then what mindset shifts are essential for someone starting over in the dating world?
Okay. So I actually changed the phrase because I keep getting this question. It was like, what is high? It really is a whatever term, because when you say high value guy, you think resources and status and whatever. What is a high value woman? So I actually changed the term kind of recently. I said, let's get the kind of women that are girlfriend material. And I think that kind of clicks a little bit more versus what is high value girlfriend material. And that means whatever it means to you. That's not for me to define. How often are you dating women that are actually girlfriend material versus girls that you're doing because you're bored, you're doing it because you're lonely, you're with them because why not? Some guys are very blunt, just like, hey, I'm horny, so it is what it is, versus that wow factor, that this is what I want. She's checking the boxes. Now, for me, I'm a nerd. I'm very analytical. So 3 years ago, I'm on a podcast and we're talking about it. And I said, you know what? I played the field for so long. Like, I've done everything. I'm going to get a girlfriend. I think it's time. I think it's finally time for me to get a girlfriend. I called this in October. In January, I got that girl. And so I can talk about how I attacked, the problem. Number one is I already had the skills down. I knew I could meet women, attract women, but it had to be the right woman. And I had to make sure I felt the right way and all that kind of stuff. So number one is, if you don't have abundance, good luck finding the right one. And I'll just put it in simple math terms. Who has a better shot of finding the one, their girlfriend material, the best partner for them? The guy that has 3 options he's choosing from, or the guy who has 300 options? It's not about quantity for the sake of being a man whore. It's about really going, I'm going to find the best. And to do that, I need to see everything possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. I mean, hell, I had all my female friends. I'm like, I'll pay you 10 grand if you find a girl, I make my girlfriend. I was like finding recruiters. I was like, I'll do whatever. Okay. Like literally, I'm like, I'm on a mission. And what I did was I got a spreadsheet and I put 4 categories: must have, should have, would be nice, can't have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just thought literally like, what are everything she has to, like, this is the deal breaker. Can't have, that's a deal breaker. Would be like, should have, like, it's not a deal breaker, but I really want that. And then would be nice. This is like bells and like, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then that gave me the clarity. And I think most guys don't have that clarity. They're still playing it by like, maybe we'll see how it goes, or she's really hot, so I'll overlook these other things. And no, if you have enough abundance and options, that doesn't matter. Right. You're literally like, I literally was like, I'm going to find a girl that checks the boxes. And that's when I took a hard look at Anna, who was in my life. Mm-hmm. And I realized as I'm like, wait a minute, this girl, I was like, I think she checked every box other than like 2, which is she loves karaoke, which would be nice. And like spicy food, which was also would be nice. Everything else is like, check, 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 check. I'm like, well, hell, I should go for this. And it was a little bit tough because she friend zoned me at the time because we used to hook up before, and then bad happened, and then she's like, no, and then we became friends again. So it was like, I had to dig myself out of ditch. It wasn't easy. I was like, literally like, I got to get out of the friend zone. Luckily, I had the skills to make that happen. Mm-hmm. Most guys don't. So if you have the skills and you have the abundance, and then you have clarity, real clarity on what you want, it's a magic compass, because now all of a sudden you're quickly just like, nope, not even entertaining that. I saw enough. And then when you see the one you want, it's like, screw everything else. I'm all in. This is what I want.
Right.
And if you don't get it, it is what it is. You can still keep finding other people out there. It's not, I don't believe in like a soulmate necessarily, but I do believe like there's just the right fit for people. Right. So that's what I would tell guys who are kind of like struggling on this: get the skills and then get the clarity.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like you're just establishing your boundaries right up front and exactly what you're looking for. When you get to that point, for you, it was like when you get to that point of wanting to find someone, but I'm also kind of curious, there was a little while before you were like made that decision, right?
I made the decision 3 years ago on October, and I made Anna my girlfriend. We're still together now.
Yeah.
And I made her my girlfriend in January.
Yeah. But I mean, even up to that point of where you're like, okay, now I'm deciding. You said I've had enough playing. I'm thinking of those guys that got out of a relationship. Probably not the best idea to start pursuing somebody else. Really want to set those boundaries up first. Spend some time getting to know yourself, type of thing.
Yeah.
And trying to find out some clarity. Hit the gym, like you said. Yeah.
My last serious relationship was 2019. And then I got with Anna in 2023. So it gives you like a few years of me being like, let me have fun. Let me play the field. Let me do my own. Right. And what I explain to a lot of guys who come here is I don't know where you sit on this. So
you're good,
hopefully
good.
It's not going to ruffle feathers here, but I'm personally at war with the red pill. Mm-hmm. There's this whole red pill movement. The only good things I can think within this movement they talk about is go to the gym, make money, which I don't think we need a movement to say that's a good idea. I think that was a good idea back in the 70s and before that. Like no one was like, oh, this is a genius idea. But what it does, it made a lot of guys bitter because it just shows all the societal statistics, whatever, that give men a reason to hate on women. And I'm the opposite. I love women. I want to connect with women. I would want people to have female friends. I want men to really understand women and connect with them on a deep level, not look at them as either, hate you see on the internet from Andrew Tate or whatever, or the girl who's coked out of her mind in a nightclub and like she's acting like she's hot spots, and you're like, well, this is for a lot of men, that's their only knowledge of women. What they see in a bar and what they see online, right? They don't really, or maybe they have a sister, like they don't really get to understand them on a deeper level like that. So I look at it in business terms these days, I guess. And that is, so many men are obsessed with making themselves an incredible offer, like a product or a service. Come on, I have coached high-end executives, multimillionaires, 6'5" Abercrombie models, Navy SEALs, very confident men. All right. But they sucked at this area. tell them to go approach a girl, they themselves. So what I realized is there's so many men out there obsessed with making them a better offer, more exact, more money, more healed, more journaling, more therapy, more exact, bigger house, more. And then I'm looking at them like, your marketing is atrocious. You're awesome. Mm-hmm. Who the knows? Are you on the dating app? Well, no, I stopped because it's a lot of bots. How many approaches? How many women did you approach this month? Oh, like 2. And I'm like, so then how do you expect? It just confounds me. And at the end of the day, there's still the fear. You can be the most jacked, rich guy in the world. If you're all of a sudden walking to an elevator and there's a gorgeous woman, what do you say? What do you do? How do you move it forward? How do you flirt? How do you make sure it's not platonic? How do you escalate? How do you plan a date properly? How do you text her properly so she's excited for the date? How do you run the date so she wants a second date? There's so much to this that people just kind of take for granted. And we basically can have it down to a science at this point.
Right. No, that's awesome. What role does emotional resilience play in building healthy relationships? And how can men develop it without becoming emotionally numb?
Can you define that for me real quick? Like, what do we mean by emotional resilience?
I would think what I mean by that, so everything's not going to be a battle. Everything's not going to be taken personally. Anything where there's maybe a disagreement shouldn't be something where it gets elevated to the nth degree. Just trying to think of a way.
So like emotional regulation, like being able to control their emotions without.
Just so they don't have to feel like, so men don't have to feel like I am suppressing stuff so much I feel nothing, or I am so detached that I'm not even going to give a crap.
Why? That's why they're suppressing. I would say, look, the point of a relationship, when you're in a relationship, is it's either going well or you're in a fight, it's not going well. Mm-hmm. If it's going well, we hear all the time from relationship experts, what makes a good relationship? Communication and trust, and love languages and blah, blah, blah. And all of that is true. I'm not denying any of that. I mean, that's like the foundation a lot of times, right? Mm-hmm. But what no one talks about, which I find really interesting and weird, is what I've discovered to be the absolute best to keep a relationship better and better and better and better and better and better is appreciation. Mm-hmm. So think about this. If a guy's in a relationship with a girl and he's like, holy shit, she's out of my league, I'm so lucky to have her. And the girl's in a relationship with a guy and she goes, holy shit, he's out of my league, I'm so lucky to have him. Mm-hmm. Tell me that's not the best relationship ever. Right. Where they're giving it their all because they just can't believe they're so lucky. Mm-hmm. They got there. So when you are able to make your partner appreciate you and find the things you appreciate in her, you got a smooth sailing ship. You got a great relationship. So one technique I would teach guys, if they're in a relationship and going okay, you can't do this when it's going bad. It has to be going well. You have to do this technique, okay? So you have to be proactive. Mm-hmm. Ask your girlfriend, what are 3 things I do that bugs you, that annoys you, pisses you off? What are just 3 things I do that you don't like? Or habits of mine I tend to do. Mm-hmm. Now, it could be a big thing, or it could be some weird small thing. Like, for example, one of the things, my thing was I shaved and left some of the beard hair in the sink. Mm-hmm. I was like, I didn't even think about that. I don't know. Like, it's stuff you wouldn't even honestly even think about.
Doesn't even register. Yeah.
Doesn't even register. Learn these 3 things. And then for the next week or 2, be damned if you allow yourself to do them. Change them. Change these 3 things. And watch as she goes, holy shit, he cared enough to ask, he listened, and he made an effort. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, she realized, I appreciate him. These are things, like, you've got the answer, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when it's going bad, the real issue is you forget you're on a team, and the whole point of when you're fighting with your girl is this need to be right. You're wrong, I'm right. The problem with that is if she's wrong, your teammate is wrong. Mm-hmm. So you're still there's still this whole issue of like, now you're just trying to put her down, and it becomes a thing of power versus a thing of love. Mm-hmm. So when you're fighting, the goal should be to understand her and to be understood, because 99% of fight is literally a misunderstanding. Mm-hmm. It's literally you didn't have the full information, she didn't have the full. I'll give you a perfect example. Mm-hmm. Let's say a man makes a sandwich. Okay. And he puts some mayonnaise on that bitch, and he puts some cheese, and he makes this great sandwich. Okay. And he puts it in the fridge, and he goes for dinner. Because so that way she knows, like, it's good, leave it, whatever. He comes back home, and his wife threw the sandwich in the trash.
Mm.
Is he justified to be upset with her and mad and be like, what the hell? Like, I literally said for dinner. Like, how stupid can you be? Like, think about the assumptions that are going on in this guy's head, right?
Mm-hmm.
How dumb can you be? I put it for dinner. I made it. It's not like it made itself. How dare you? But if he took a second to just calm and goes, hey, I just want to understand, why did you throw the sandwich in the trash?
Mm-hmm.
He would hear her point of view. And she goes, last week, you literally told me to keep you accountable to eat better and not eat mayonnaise and cheese, and that you're on a diet, and I'm not letting you quit on your goals.
Mm-hmm.
And now he goes, oh, I forgot to tell you, that was just a 1 week thing. That was my cheat meal. That's why I was looking forward to it so much, because I finished the week. And she goes, well, I didn't know. You didn't tell me that.
Didn't put it on there. Didn't say it's a cheat. It's a cheat sandwich.
Didn't say it's cheat. Yeah. He was like, you're still on this new diet.
I'm holding you accountable. Yeah, of course.
If the guy attacked her at that moment, she goes, well, you, I'm trying to make you not so fat. Oh, you think I'm fat? How dare? So all of a sudden, this fight becomes, I need to convince her she has no right to touch my stuff or do that kind of thing. And she's in the wrong. And the girl's like, how dare him? I'm just doing what he told me to do. He needs to back. And then it escalated. Now it's not even about the sandwich. It's about the tone. It's about the words you're using. It's about the hatred. And so now that's where the emotional, I think, regulation comes in, to be like, why are we going to the nth degree? And it shouldn't be about that. It's literally just a misunderstanding.
Right. It's okay to ask why. You don't have to make an assumption.
Here's a magic phrase you should have. A magic phrase in a relationship. Help me understand. Just help me understand. Anything. You're mad at your wife. You're mad at your girlfriend. Help me understand. Why didn't this happen? Help me understand why this didn't happen or this did happen. And literally stop trying to be right and just listen, and just like, I really want to see things from her point of view. Like, root for her to be right. Like, how I really want to see what was going on here and get it. And then usually at that moment, it's like, oh, it's like, I get it. I see why she saw it from that lens. And then, and only then, really, can you lead her and guide her to understanding your point of view.
I was just going to touch on that. You're kind of showing her, this is how I'm going to lead. And if the example is, you're going to jump my she's going to be like, whoa. I don't know if I like that. Versus, hey, this is what happened. Yeah.
Think of it like, I mean, it's a little, I mean, it's true. This is, I mean, it's a crazy analogy, but it's true. Think of an FBI negotiator. They're in a very hostile environment. They're probably the most hostile. There's lives on the line. And you want something different, and the bank robber wants something different. They're not escalating, they're de-escalating. They're understanding the person, they're working through. They go, how can we find something that works for everybody? Like, I'm not saying you have to act like a fucking FBI negotiator all the time around your girl or whatever, but that shows you the power. Like, that's the highest level persuasion. I'm Chris Voss, he's teaching all these amazing techniques, whatever. That should tell you something. They're not shouting. They're not arguing. They're not going off the rails. They have emotional regulation, high EQ. Let me control my emotion, and then try to understand my person. And then ideally, you're trying to persuade her in a way that works for you guys as a team.
Right. No, that's awesome. You faced a lot of rejection early on. How do you help? It's like, that's an understatement. Yeah. How do you help clients reframe rejection so it becomes a tool for growth instead of shame?
Great question. So I was asked this in Germany years, like a decade ago, if not longer. And he goes, Jarrett, how do you handle getting rejected when you approach a girl? And I go, I've never been rejected off a cold approach. And then he had that same smile. And he was like, really? You've never been rejected? He's looking at me like, you're that good. I'm like, no, let me explain here. I've never been rejected because she doesn't know me. She has no idea who I am, what I'm about. What she's rejecting is my game, is whatever I'm choosing to portray and do in that particular moment. All right. I truly believe in my heart, in my soul, the Groundhog's Day effect. If I approach a girl and it goes bad, give me an unlimited attempts. Let me do it. Let me rewind time and do it again and again and tweak things and do things different. I will get that girl eventually. I don't know what, how many tries, but I will figure it out and I'll do the right things and I'll get that girl. So what that tells you is you are not getting rejected. You are too tied to your game. You're too tied to the things you're saying in that current moment or your current actions, whatever. That's not you. It's like Fight Club. You are not your shoes.
Right.
But it's really hard for guys to accept that. It's like an ego thing. It's like we don't tie our entire identity on the fact of, well, do we make this basketball shot? Unless you're an NBA player, right? We don't tie our fact of we fail and, we mess up the IKEA furniture and we can't figure it out. It's not like, oh, we are no longer men, but mess up with a pretty girl. And that's what it feels like. There's something wrong with me. When again, if you understand the tenet, the key thing that I preach and try to tell guys, it is a skill. It is a learnable, teachable skill. It is not you or your personality or anything like that. Anyone can figure this out. I cracked it. I don't know how to explain it any better. I cracked the code. There's literally 15 steps. I call it the attraction ladder. From start to sex and then beyond to relationships, there's a very predictable pattern. And all I did was for the attraction ladder was I learned from all these different tidbits and stuff. And all I did was I looked at all my successes. I had all the failures, of course. I looked at my successes. And our brain is amazing at finding patterns, but you can't find patterns unless you have taken a lot of action and failed a lot and succeeded a lot.
Right.
So I stopped looking at the failures and I started looking at successes. And I found out like 80% of them followed a predictable pattern. And that's when I'm just like, here we go. And that's just how our brains operate. So for example, Glenn, I'll do a drill with you, for instance, okay?
Okay.
I want you to do this as fast as you can, okay? As fast as you can.
Okay.
Tell me all the months in the year, but in a random order.
January, February, March, April, May.
Random order.
August, July, September, December, November, October.
Now look how much slower you're going now than when you were rattling.
Yeah.
I know you know the months, but I'm asking your brain to do something it's not meant to do. I do this with some guys. They might say the same month twice. They go, did I say that? Did I not say that? Yeah. Like they go, wait a minute. What? It short circuits us. But all of a sudden, if I just give you a pattern to understand, a system to follow, easy. January, February, March, April, May, June, like we just go. So that's what so many guys don't recognize and appreciate with this is it's a skill like anything else. And if you understand that, then you also understand that she's not rejecting you. She's rejecting your approach. She's rejecting what you did.
Right.
And that's changeable. That's malleable. That comes with learning and obviously failing and tweaking and going, okay, that didn't work. Let me try that. But it's really hard when you're learning and getting those reps in, and then you're seeing her go home with some other guy.
Right. And
go, well, he didn't do all that. Why is he doing? And you have no, like, I've been there.
Right.
So it's just one of those things. I think if you're serious about if you're serious about ending the pain of not having this figured out, it's time to get to work.
Right.
Or I get guys a lot of times, maybe you're fine, but if you really want to see your potential, because I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a pretty messed up feeling when you're watching your bride walking down the aisle and she undoes the veil and then you're left wondering, could I have done better? Am I settling? I think she's okay. She's good. Versus that appreciation of like, I'm so lucky to be with this girl. That's what every guy should experience.
Right. Yeah. I was just thinking about that rejection fear. From what I understand, it just comes from a man's innate desire to pass on DNA, and getting that rejection is like, you're not going to get your DNA passed on. Like it's that just built in innate feeling of just like, oh my gosh, she rejects my DNA. Basically, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's evolutionary psychology. So we had all these people back in caveman times. The guys who didn't give a shit and approached nonstop and talked to these women, either the girls would reject him, and then they tell the other girls, and there was a small village, and then no one wanted to get with him because he was seen as a loser, and he failed. So then he didn't pass on his genes. Not our grandpa.
Right.
Or a guy hit on a girl, and it was some tribe chief's woman, and then her boyfriend would murder him. Didn't pass on his genes, no grandpa. So the men who kind of played it safe back then and were just like, hey, I'm just going to be really cautious and take my time and just whatever, they got their genes passed on, right? Because they were able to pair bond and find the right way. Also, though, men who, spread the seed around a lot, that was the vibe. That's why men are usually hornier than women and want to get with a lot of other girls, because we're evolutionarily wired to want to spread the seed as much as possible. Women, they get pregnant. That's it. Now they need resources and someone to watch it. So yeah, we can go into evolutionary psychology and social psychology. At the end of the day, though, I truly, my core, like we can understand all this where it comes from. The only psychology that matters is social psychology and behavioral psychology, because that's the only thing in your control that you can do to yourself. Like we're not going to rewire evolutions or genes. We're not going to rewire our entire like foundation and core being. But B.F. Skinner, the founder of behavioral psychology, said, give me any baby and my own little pocket universe to raise him in. I'll make him a saint. I'll make him a doctor. I'll make him a crook. I'll make him a murderer. Any baby, just through conditioning. And the cool thing is we can do that to ourselves. We can condition ourselves. So the way I look at it is, Glenn, how old are you?
57.
57. Is 57-year-old Glenn the same as he was when he was 37?
Absolutely not.
Is 37-year-old you the same as he was in 17?
Absolutely not.
So if we understand that we're going to change, right? Change is inevitable. People are like sometimes, oh, I want to be me. I don't want to lose myself. I go, whether you like it or not, you're about to lose yourself. You ain't staying like this. You're going to be, I'm turning 40 this year. That's going to be very different than Jared turning 50, right? So you're going to change whether you like it or not. So I hate to burst your bubble. Now, here's the only question. That change, do you want it to be by random circumstance and luck, or do you want it to be by your own design?
Right.
You want to have control of that. So when I realized, holy shit, I can control this, everything starts changing now. And now you can develop the life you want. I went from obese to, I'm not perfect yet, but I'm 17% body fat. I went from couldn't get a girl to save my life to I got a girl, I'm going to be, soon making my wife. I went from broke, again, $5,000 in my name, $30,000 in debt, 6 years ago, to making $250,000 a month. So like, nice. This is not by the universe randomly, the secret, and like things are just, although I get the secret. I mean, don't get me wrong. The secret's like just have your North Star, manifest, and just have intention. I get that, right? But like, that's not going to come from wishful thinking. That's my point. It comes from doing the outer work, right? Buckling down and figuring these problems out.
Right. You say confidence is the most seductive trait. What is and how can someone cultivate confidence authentically?
Okay, so how we can make real confidence, not kumbaya, not the bullshit alpha confidence, not like beating your chest. Real confidence is kind of what I was saying earlier. Real confidence comes from competence. So again, the pilot, the surgeon, having such roles, they shit themselves, right? So it's the same kind of thing. Like if someone wants real confidence in anything, you have to get really competent. You have to learn. You have to figure it out. You have to get your reps in through anything. I mean, Alex Hormozi is a for guys who don't know, it's a business guru or whatever, makes 100 million or 200 million a year, something ridiculous. And someone asked him, I love this answer. I have a lot of these little quotes I love. And someone asked him, what is the best single piece of advice you've ever been given? And it has to do with confidence. And he says, work so hard that it would be unreasonable for you to fail. Go so hard at the problem that it doesn't even make sense for you to fail. You're 200 no's or 200 attempts away from what you actually want. So if, for example, if I said to the guy listening here, he's heartbroken, he just broke up with his ex and he just wants her back so much. And I go, listen, you are 200 approaches away from finding the next amazing woman in your life. Those 200 approaches can be over the course of the next 40 years or the next 40 days. It's really up to you. But when we understand we are literally 200 away, okay, I got to know. It's all of a sudden, that's awesome. Second no, fuck yeah. Third no, fourth no, fifth no. We're getting closer and closer. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And I don't mean to say that as like it's a numbers game, because I hate when people say dating is a numbers game. It is in a way, but it's a statistics game. It's like poker. Poker is gambling. It's random. But we all know there's guys who are professional poker players who outbeat everybody, just understanding the statistics and knowing the right moves to play. So is there luck? Is there calibration? Is every girl the same? No. Is there luck? Yes. Are situations different? Yes. But just like poker, if you know how to make the right moves, statistically, you get better and better and better and better. And I listen, I don't know what's going to happen on any one random approach. If you or if me and some random guy listening to this goes up and approaches one random girl, listen, he might get her and I might not, honestly. Mm-hmm. But have me and him approach 50 girls, and I will bet anything on me every single time. Mm-hmm. Every single time. And they will all be equally attractive. And that's the kind of confidence you can't buy. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the kind of feeling you can't just get from having yachts and spending a lot of money or even having a big business. Mm. You have to earn that like anything else. It's like a six pack. When you see a guy with an amazing woman by his side, he earned that. Right. He did that. He didn't buy that, right? You can see a guy sometimes with sugar babies, but those kind of relationships are pretty self-evident. They're pretty self-obvious to everybody, watching like, okay, clearly I see what's going on here. Right. So real confidence comes from competence. Competence comes from having a system down. And that system can only be developed through pattern recognition by taking a lot of action. Right. So that's what it comes down to.
Right. You kind of talked about this a little bit. For someone coming out of a long-term relationship, what are the first steps to starting over with intention?
So if you're it depends how new it is. I would say if it's brand new, like you just broke up like a couple of days ago, allow yourself some time to be sad. It's not a bad thing. Be sad, cry it out. Maybe talk to a therapist, be with your friends, just more. It's a loss. It's like a death. It really is. And there's those 5 stages, right? At first, you can't believe it happened, denial. Then you get very, very angry about it. Then all of a sudden you get obviously very sad, and then it goes bargaining, and then acceptance. Mm-hmm. You kind of go into those same patterns, right? So the goal is, well, how fast can we get through them and get to the acceptance? Mm-hmm. And with that said, you have to go through the proper grief and steps. But with that, I would say it comes down to finding who yourself as a single. So start doing things. Okay, put it this way. I'll tell you what not to do, because everybody's going to have their own different ways of processing. Some people are spiritual. Some people want to throw themselves at work. Some people want to go party. There's no real wrong answer to it, as long as you're finding you as a person, right? Here are the 3 things you don't want to do. And the reason you don't want to do these 3 things is because in psychology, they teach us that these 3 things are the ingredients for real long depression. Mm. And that is hopelessness, helplessness, and isolation. Mm. So hopelessness, you don't want to glorify her with the rose color and say, I'm never going to be in love again. You have to get rid of those thoughts. You have to realize, yes, you will find another woman. She will be just great. It's fine. But I've never done it before. It doesn't matter. No one's done anything before until they've done it. Okay. I never approached a girl in my life until I did my first approach. So it's okay. Right. Mm-hmm. No one makes their first million until they make their first million. Nobody does anything. So you got to get rid of that hopelessness. Helplessness. You got to stop the inadequacies of I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too broke, I'm too whatever. And just have that control. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, I've said enough on the whole helplessness. It's a skill. You can learn it. Anybody can. I did it. Overweight, obese, and that's another thing with the whole red pill. Get jacked and make a lot of money. That's how you get women. Not only am I coaching guys right now who are jacked and make a lot of money, so I know that's not right. I was broke. I was 21-year-old college student. I didn't have $50 to my name, and I was not fat. I was obese, and I was making it work. So that really was the game is everything. This is the game works. If you understand the skills, so get rid of your helplessness. You can learn it. It's just a choice. And then isolation. Be around people. Find friends. Find activities. Get out of the house. Right. And if it's the first few days, sure, have your morning period. You can stay for sure. But after a week, get out of the house. Start taking action on things. Go do things properly. Right. And that finding purpose again, I think will help guys rediscover who they are. I love a book actually for relationships. I think is great. I probably owe it a reread because it's been years.
Mm-hmm.
The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about that, like your purpose as a man has to come before your woman. And you can't, when you're in that breakup phase, you're really putting a woman before your purpose. You need to find yourself again, and nothing comes before that.
Right. No, that's awesome. How do unresolved emotional wounds show up in dating, and what's your approach for healing them?
By attacking the problem and going out. I mean, there's a lot of different issues that can come up in dating. I mean, we can talk about narcissism. We can talk about avoidant attachment, anxious attachment. We can talk about like just straight up abuse. We can talk about manipulation. I mean, you name it. So we'd have to first go, okay, well, what is the problem? And if we tack it as trauma, here's the issue with trauma. Trauma, that term, that understanding is a psychoanalytic technique. And Freudian psychology and psychoanalysis, it's not debunked, but it's one of those things where like, okay, can it work? Yes. You're going to be on a couch for decades. You're going to be like 10 to 20 years of uncovering, unraveling, of talk therapy. And by that point, you've probably outgrown anyways what was going on because it's so long, right? Mm-hmm. So is there a cathartic, like a relief of understanding the root of a problem? Why do you have this trauma? Let's say it's because you were molested. Let's say one of the worst things. Mm-hmm. Okay, I know I was molested. I know that's where the trauma comes from. How does that get rid of it though? Mm-hmm. Because at that point, it's not really so much the trauma that's doing. You know it's trauma. You have clarity. You know where it came from. The problem is the snowball effect that the trauma created, which was the creation of these awful habits.
Yep.
These awful ways of seeing the world. Let's say you got molested. So now I can't trust people close to me because so now I'm going to take habits of hiding my keeping my distance from my family members, from whoever's really close to me. Mm-hmm. I have to create a habit of reliance, of being hyper independent versus learning interdependence, mm-hmm. how I can be independent, but also rely on people. So it creates a snowball of these bad habits. So I don't know what problem we're talking about when we're saying, well, how do you uncover whatever? But I will say, whatever it is, it's backed up by some bad habits that you don't want, and because you're seeing them play out. So I would attack the habits. I would go behavioral. I would go, where are these habits? And a great book on this is called Atomic Habits. You need to make it so hard for you to continue this pattern, these bad habits that you've identified by changing your environment and getting 1% better and tweaking it again and again, that eventually you understand where the trauma came from, but you're not that same person anymore because you have made healthy habits for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you're making me think of is, and this is what I have said several times, is the habits I developed as a little kid just to survive. My family was really passive aggressive, and there's some other stuff that happened, and father wasn't around. So we were raised I have two older brothers, and we were raised by a mom who was just like, everything's fine. We're good. Just keep going on. And all that I see the tendencies in both my brothers, this passive aggressive stuff. And whatever I look at it now is what I had to do back then to survive does not carry over to relationships now. Absolutely not. And that's a major reason why I wanted to start doing these podcasts is, how I learned to do this stuff as an adult is just, the outputs do not, I don't like at all. So I needed to change something. And that's when I started recognizing everything. Yeah. Yeah.
That's when we have our big breakthrough. When you hit rock bottom, you realize this is a serious problem. It's a gift.
Right.
And then now you have an amazing podcast from it. You're not just helping yourself, you're helping other people with it, right? Like that wouldn't happen if you didn't have that trauma, the passive aggressiveness. So like people get to decide what they want to do with their scar. I mean, I was adopted. I had abandonment issues. I can go into all the different, whatever. Mm-hmm. We get to decide our story. I urge everybody listening to this, people say it as a bad thing. It's like main character syndrome. I love that. I think you need to be the main character in your movie. And if you're watching this movie, is it a movie you'd want to watch? Are you rooting for this character? If someone's watching your life as a movie, what are the audience screaming at you? Like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing that. I can't believe he's not doing this.
Oh my God.
What would the audience be saying?
Right.
And the
Right.
answer is so clear, but you were scared to do it. And we just have these bad
Hmm.
habits. And it's like, listen to the audience, treat your life as a movie, create these memories, create these moments. Most of them are done with relationships, with your friends, with your business colleagues, with your partner.
Hmm.
These are the moments you always remember.
Right.
When you just wake up, go to gym, go to work, go to sleep, wake up, go to gym, go to work, go to sleep. You look back at 10 years and you go, I only have like 2 memories. Every
Right.
day's Groundhog's Day. I'm just doing the same thing day in and day out. And like, that's not, you're going to really like our length of life, a perceived length of life is based on meaningful memories that we create. And for a lot of people or like my parents, middle-aged people, that's created like 4 times a year on some vacations and big moments. And then that's it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. And I had you're reminding me of a friend of mine that I used to work with. Haven't talked to him in years. And it was just a colleague, but a really good guy, a good man. And I had another colleague call me up just recently, past few days ago, and just told me he basically passed away just just like that. He was
Yeah.
50 years old, and he
You
was out
never know.
running and then just passed away within seconds. I think there was a cardiac issue. And ever since then, I've just been going, huh. What you just said is, what I've been thinking about for the past few days.
I saw this somewhere and I believe in it. I really, I mean, this has nothing to do with relationships, but I
Mm-hmm.
urge everyone to survive for the next 15 to 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I highly suggest it because if you can make it 15 to 20 more years, I really believe with the way AI is going and how smart it's going to be, and when it becomes AGI,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's going to add additional 20, 30 years life expectancy.
Well,
So it's going to become the norm to be 120, 100. Like that's just going to become the norm. Just like back in caveman times, we lived till 20. In Roman times, we lived till 30. And we keep going up. If we can make it 15, 20 more years, they're going to reverse aging. They have already chemicals and stuff, NAD plus. They have all these different types of um, anti-aging reversals from stem cells to stabilizing telomeres to all these different things that are just like it's science fiction. What's happening is a whole other topic, but I nerd on this. What's
yeah.
happening right now is literally out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like we're going for the first time in history, we're going to have something that's self-aware and smarter than us, and not by a little bit. Not like us compared to a gorilla. It's going to be us compared to a mouse.
Right.
Like God level intelligence,
And
like
it's going to keep,
scary level intelligence.
yeah. And it's going to keep progressing too. It's not going to stop. Yeah.
It's going to have 3 objectives: to survive, which is scary because if somebody wants to turn it off, it's not going to let you. To
Right.
survive, to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and to do its primary objective. Now, hopefully, that primary objective is to be helpful to humanity and useful.
Right.
But if it feels you're not helping it, being useful, it can turn really ugly really fast. And we're already seeing, like, do you know there's like AI right now where they threaten it saying we have a new model, we're going to turn you off, and it uses blackmail.
Yes, I've heard that.
Like
Yes.
it's getting
Yeah.
scary.
It's like, oh yeah, do you think you're gonna turn me off? You have
I'm
no
going to
idea
tell
what I know
Susan
about you.
about the affair you're having. There's an
Yeah.
email I can send out, or like
Yes, I heard
stuff,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So it's getting really scary. But I truly think what's going to happen with that is, and especially in the dating space, I think we're all going to have AI avatars that are dating each other and vetting each other, and then we're going to go on a date with a person. So just like online dating, like texting first, I really think we're going to have AI avatars, and it's going to be figure out what our dating
Yeah.
wants. It's going to make cases for us, and it's going to talk. It's going to be like our
Oh,
dating lawyers.
I'm just picturing the 2 avatars. Like, go ahead and chat amongst yourselves and let me know when you're done. Tell me if it's good or not.
Basically, and I'll give you a
Yeah.
breakdown, and I'll be like,
Right.
honestly, you're gonna want this girl the best. It's the best you can get. It's gonna use actual analytics to like just comment, and then the girl's gonna come prep because her AI is saying this is the best guy you're gonna, and like
Mhm.
it's going to combat for you and all this stuff. So I think that's where it's going. But overall, I
Right.
think AI is going to create a slavery utopia
Mm.
where it's basically like the best dictator ever. Is what I think it's good. Like you know
Wow.
how we have an ant farm or mice and we make it awesome. It's like there's all the water you want, all the food you want, all the stuff you want, but we have no control. We're just sheep. We have no idea what AI is doing. We can't say no to it, but we're
Right.
going to be happy and awesome and living for so long.
Yeah. Oh my
That's
gosh.
my prediction.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh my gosh. If this conversation is hitting home, pause for a second and share it. Whether you're starting over, rebuilding trust, or just learning to show up differently, this episode is packed with tools and truth. Don't forget to check out Jared's work and accessibility on his website, themodernsuccess.com. Did I get
Yep,
that right?
themodernsuccess.com.
Perfect.
Also, I highly suggest people check out my Instagram for all latest tips. I give tons of value there all the time. At the Jared Laurence, and Laurence spelled Laurence because my mom wanted to be original. But at the Jared Laurence, and I'm posting more content on there than I think any other dating coach out there.
Nice. Nice. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Glen Gilbert Connection so you never miss an episode that helps you grow in relationships, leadership, and life. Let's continue. Jared, what are the most common communication mistakes people make in early relationships, and how can they be avoided?
Are we talking about relationships, or are we talking about meeting the girl, initial approaching and starting things off?
Let's say early in the relationship, early when you just made them, you're going on maybe third date, something to that effect.
Okay, so on third date,
Mm-hmm.
I would say sharing a little bit too much too soon is
Mm-hmm.
a common theme.
Yeah.
People get like trigger happy, and then they're like, "Wait a minute, I overshared," and then the girl's like, "Actually, this is a lot, too much." You need to gradually bring people into your life, and let them earn that instead of just here you go. Like let them earn
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say possessiveness. Sometimes guys they find a girl and they think, "Oh my gosh, she's the one." So I want to like control and I want her to be mine, like a toy. And like the more you pull, it's like a Chinese finger trap. The harder it gets, and eventually the tension breaks.
Mm-hmm.
I think around third date phase, common mistakes could be just making it overly too sexual. Like usually around there, now you're having sex with a girl. And it's like, this is all just booty call, come to my place. And it's like, well, no, I thought this is progressing to something. And I'm not to say you can't have women around as friends with benefits or buddies, but even then, there's the proper way of framing that and doing that versus making her feel cheap and making her feel used. Again,
Right.
there's so many different mistakes guys can go trying to make their girlfriend too soon. I believe it's men's job to lead things physically. It's women's job to lead things emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for guys who propose and get rejected by their girlfriend, I think that's moronic. How have you not in the background had this kind of conversation or future projected this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wait for the girl to ask me to be the boyfriend.
Right.
I can act like a boyfriend, but I want to hear from that, like, because
Right.
it plays. It's not in your benefit in any way to take a shot and overinvest. It's your job to keep building up her desire as a man and making it so. I would say this: instead of seeing what you can take, I guess all these have the same commonality. Instead of trying to take, give. The most selfish thing you can do is give.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like when you just give freely as much as possible, you get so much back in return.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, as the man, give her the ultimate experience. Make her experience so good that she would be crazy not to want you to be her boyfriend, her husband, want to spend more time with you. Like I'm known, I don't know if this is a good thing to be fair, but when I was single and I was going on these dates with the girls, I was known for these 48-hour dates. It was a date
Nice.
that would just never ended.
Right.
Like I was making it so amazing for her and so fun.
Mm-hmm.
She would sleep over, she would stay, we would cook. She's like, well, I don't really have to get to work or whatever. I can chill. I'm like, okay, well, let's go do da da da. And it's like, eventually it was like, okay, we have to separate at this point. Like, I'm not suggesting that,
Right.
but like that's an exaggerated version of what I'm talking about, where it's like, it's so good. Why would you want any to leave, to separate? Because it's so, because you're having such a great time. So I would focus on that, giving her such an amazing experience in time that anything bad would be just unreasonable to think.
Right. I agree with that 100%. I really like it. One caveat, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one,
Sure.
is to do that, but expect nothing in return. I've thrown that out there and I've practiced that. And it really, for me, it was something to where it alleviated a lot of expectations.
Wanting nothing in return.
Wanting nothing in return. So you do, like you said, you're doing all of these things for her. But yeah.
Because if you're doing it and you want something in return, that's manipulation.
Right.
The idea is you'd be doing it freely.
Mhm.
And then if whoever adds value back, okay, let's create something. If they don't, okay, I did it for
Yep.
them, cool. But I don't want value takers in my life, and that's fine, right? The law of reciprocation is very powerful. And the idea should be you should just be a giving person. The nice guy isn't a giving person, by the way. The whole like the nice guy,
Right.
he's being nice for a reason. He's being nice because he wants something. I paid a nice dinner. I was a gentleman. I opened the door. She should come home with me.
Right.
That's not how it works.
Right.
You like that's the stuff you're doing because mama taught you, right? You don't get anything. There's no expectation. She's not meant. She's under no pretense to sleep with you, and even if she is, that is going to give her a yucky feeling of, oh, I'm obligated to do something. Or I feel like I have to do something versus I can't wait to do something.
Right.
So stop treating it like a business transaction, and instead just give freely. I'm telling you, I do it with business too.
Yeah.
I give free. I treat customers the way I treat women. That's why I got successful with business. I'm successful with women. I'm just like, I'm going to give every person who comes in my orbit an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to give away. I honestly, maybe I'm egocentric about this and fair, but I truly feel I give away better free material than most other coaches had people pay them for. Like if you look at my YouTube course and this guys, if they message me gift, I send them like so much stuff, ghost busting guides, openers to use, systems to follow, some of my best stuff with online dating, social circle building attraction, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, then why would they pay to join your program? I'm like, I don't know, maybe because they get one-on-ones right with account manager, maybe because we have amazingly talented coaches and we do 2 to 4 coaching calls a week. Mm-hmm. Maybe because we have women that they can do drills with and role plays with, because we have live events where they can see it live in front of their face and for the first time believe in it. They have an amazing community where they can meet guys in their areas to go out and make their wingman. Maybe because they can reach out to me whenever the hell they want and I get back to everyone within the day.
Nice. No.
Obviously, yes, we have our masterclass, we have courses to follow more in depth, but like the idea that you should hoard things, whatever, makes no sense to me.
Right.
I want to give away as much as I can for free. I want to help as much people as I possibly can. And then the people who want to amp it up a notch or even need to, some people don't even need that, they'll find me and they have.
There's something about, and I've always kind of said this, for as a man, you want to bring value to others. And that's exactly what you're doing. I mean, and for free. I mean, that's amazing.
Anybody right now can DM me on Instagram the word gift, and I just give you some of my best stuff for free. Or they can DM me the word action, and I set them up with a free 15-minute call with someone from my team to diagnose what's going on. And then they pair them up with my best training that they've been trained to like literally go, okay, well, here's your problem. I'm going to give you this course by Jarrett, and it's free. Right. People think it's a sales call. It's not a sales call. Keep your wallet in your pants. There is no money transactions. It is literally a free 15-minute call. You're not going to be pitched anything. You're not going to be asked for a dime. They're going to get to know you one-on-one, and then they're going to pair you with my best training. And then if that wows you and you want more, then absolutely, we can discuss, investing in a program or working together or whatever. But like, that's what amazes me. Like, I wish I had that when I was learning this, that people are like, here you go. We will custom design stuff for you. You don't even have to pay for it. Like, no one does that.
Real quick, what would you say the age range of your clients are?
Right now, I would say the youngest currently, ever would be 18 to 74. Currently,
74. Wow.
Yeah. Currently, right now in the program, I'd say youngest is 22. Mm-hmm. And the oldest is, I'm trying to test my memory. I want to say mid 60s, 64 to 66.
Right. So just out of high school to you're well beyond AARP.
Yeah. Traditionally, most of my guys in their late 20s and early 30s. I think that's for the most part. And then it's like a big chunk late 20s and early 30s, and then another big chunk mid 40s, like the divorcees coming out of a relationship,
like a double peak type of thing.
Starts a big peak and then another peak and then it tapers.
Yeah, I gotcha. You've coached people through online dating struggles. What advice for navigating the dating ocean without losing your sense of self-control, your sense of self?
Have a strong sense of self. Actually, yourself. I don't like that term. Don't you don't want to be yourself, which I know is blasphemous advice. You want to be your best self.
Right.
So what I teach my guys is, again, like design. What is your ideal self? What is the perfect you? No flaws, everything you want. Who is that guy? Write that down, visualize it, see it. And instead of making it this future thing, this ideal you, do it now. Who's stopping you?
Right.
This is not even psychology. This is an ancient Taoist philosophy called be, do, have. So for example, we think we're asked backwards. We think we have to have $1 million. Then we'll start doing the things millionaires do. And then we can feel and be a millionaire. The reality is the exact opposite. You have to be a millionaire here. If you're fat, you have to see your self-identity as I'm a fit person, even though you're fat. You have to see yourself as rich, even though you're broke. And then because you are that person, you will do the things that person does, and then you will have the things that person has. So to have to have a strong sense of self, have a strong sense of your ideal self, and build those habits and live accordingly to that ideal. And then when it comes to online dating, it's just, again, it's like approach, it's skills. What pictures work? Let's test it out. What kind of text messages work? Let's test it out. What prompts work? I don't give a shit about like the feeling of this or that or whatever. Some of my coaches do, and I respect it. Like I get it. I'm more left brain. Some of my coaches are more right brain, and I understand not everyone's going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's why I have such a amazing variety of coaches here. By the way, so I've got like Anna, who got a girl perspective. My love. I got Cosmo, who was the winner of the VH1 show, The Pickup Artist, back in the day, one of the greatest seducers alive. Today, we got Albert, my old wingman, who was a finalist on the CBS show Survivor, using his social engineering skills all the way to the, so we got like a Gore, so many shout outs. Dale, like we have such great talent here and different ways of looking at it, but I like a lot of structure to it. So online dating is it's like running paid ads to me. I just care about what's effective. Now, granted, I don't lie. I'm never going to do something that's by default not me, but I'm going to take the best of me and go, what am I able to portray? And let's systematize it. Let's test. So here's a picture of me in a suit. I'm going to split test that with a picture of me with a blazer on. I'm going to do a picture of me with this good lighting or nighttime. I'm going to do a good solid picture of me in the daytime. What's better? I don't give a I will use whatever the data tells me. Here's a picture of me I have 3 puppies. Whichever puppy I'm holding gets me the most likes, you're the winning puppy. Like, that's it. Like, I'm sorry, other 2, you're not guess the women have voted. They want the Frenchie or they want the Aussie. Like, it is what it is. So by separating yourself from, especially with online, it's literally just, what are the right ways to text? What are the patterns? What are the strategies? And you should enjoy giving women these experiences. You're like, well, I don't find that funny. I don't think that, who gives a shit? If she does, you owe it to her to give her the best experience possible. There was one, like, for example, there was one routine I learned from one of my mentors, and I thought this was the stupidest joke ever. All right. And then women loved it. And I'm like, I'm gonna keep using it. I haven't done it in a while, but so which one of these sentences is correct? The yolk of the egg is white, or the yolk of the egg are white?
I'm inclined to say the first.
Well, I'm pretty sure the yolk of the egg is yellow.
Yeah. Right.
And then women are like, oh my God. It's a good little way to break rapport. It's like a small little fun, you get a punch on the shoulder. I'm gonna be honest, when I first heard it, I'm like, that's like a lame dad joke, but like, okay. But then every time I did it, girls were laughing out. I'm like, I'm gonna keep saying that.
Right.
It wasn't about me or not me. I was like, if that gets a chuckle and a good laugh and it breaks rapport and does what I want it to do consistently, give them a good experience. Who cares a shit?
Right.
You know, like, now granted, am I going to hide things about my identity? Am I going to pretend I'm not Jewish, let's say? Hell no. Right. Am I going to pretend, when I was broke that I had money and I'm like, oh, I'm really rich. I'm like lying and pretend, like, no. So you got to operate in the confines of your boundaries and what's true. But as long as we're ethical, as long as it's true, as long as it's, something you believe in, and it's a minute thing, who gives a shit, then yeah, test, change, have fun with it. It's like trying on clothes. Well, that's not me. You don't know what's you. Try on different clothes, and if you get great reactions from it, just own it and like realize people like seeing you in these clothes.
Right.
That's it.
Keep an open mind, huh?
Keep an open mind. And you are like Fight Club. You are not your shoes. You are not your online profile. You are not your approach.
Mm-hmm.
If your sense of self is confined and shattered by something as minute as a piece of cloth or some digital, a couple 6 pictures on a website, then yeah, we got a lot more inner game work to do to realize like you are so much more than this.
Right. Let's talk about your attraction ladder. Can you break down the attraction ladder you teach and how it helps people build lasting romantic connection?
So I don't have to. Anyone can go on Amazon and get my book, The Psychology of Modern Flirting, or they can just DM me the word gift and they don't have to buy it. Hint, hint. I give away everything for free. Right. But yeah, it's just a series of patterns. So it's kind of broken up into 5 phases: comfort, playful, flirting, connecting, sexual. The actual 15 steps is, so I base it off a cold approach because I feel like that's where you get the most skilled. You can meet women through social circle. You can meet women online, but let's just stick to cold approach. Mm-hmm. First, you got to open. Then you have to make good conversation. Rung 2. You approached her. Now what? Most people actually mess up on that part. Mm-hmm. How do you transition? How do you what is good conversation? Mm-hmm. How do you sound interesting and intriguing? How do you vibe with people? So you got to get that part. Then positioning. It's not what you say, it's what you convey. It's where you're actually standing. If you're talking over the girl's shoulder, if you're out of position where the women aren't around you, your value is going to drop and she's not going to give you the time of day. Mm-hmm. All right. At that point, now it becomes about peer approval. People think, I got to woo the girl. No, you got to woo her friends. If you don't get her peers approving of you, if you don't win over the friends, you're going to get cock blocked. Doesn't matter how into you she is. Now that the friends are into me and they like me, then I do what I call PES, positive emotional stimulus, which basically means make her laugh, make her have fun, give her good emotion, give her spikes of good emotion. Mm-hmm. So now here's a girl. She's having good conversation. You're in a good position. Her friends are liking you. She's having fun with you. One of the ultimate attraction switches, fun. At that point, turn up the knob and make it flirty. Start a flirtation. And I define exactly what flirting is and how to do and how to go through it. So now if she's flirting back, amazing. Get her away from her friends. Free her away from her friends. And now you can have some one-on-one time. Because this is all you can do around her friends. You don't want her feeling like a slut or weird about anything. Now that you're alone with her, don't go sexual, counterintuitive, build a connection. And I found that to be the missing, like all of a sudden this jokey, fun, playful, flirty vibe, we phase shift entirely. We tone it down. You're one-on-one with her and you build a real powerful connection. You make something real. And I got a great quote by Laurie Sanders, who I think is one of the greatest sex coaches out there. She's 70 or whatever, but she knows her. Mm-hmm. And she said, the cosmic joke is that women need a connection to have sex and men need sex to have a connection. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I don't care what men need. I care what the woman needs. I'm giving her experience. You're saying she needs a connection for sex. I'm going to give her that connection. So I focused on that. Then when you have the connection, when it's there, then plan the date. People are trying to plan the date and get numbers. I don't even like to say getting a number. Plan a date. A number or Instagram should be an afterthought because you have a date set up. And that date should be set up after there's flirting, there's attraction, there's a connection. Why the hell would this girl ghost you at this point? Most people, they go when they do some pads and they get a phone number. Mm-hmm. And then they wonder, why did I get ghosted? Because you didn't have a real connection. You're just a whatever. You're entertainment for the night. So now that you have to plan the date and you can leave it there, or if you're going to keep going, the next rung is you're going to build sexual tension. Now you're going to turn it on. You got the plan B going. This is where same night lays can happen and whatever, but now you're building that sexual tension. Mm-hmm. And when that tension's palpable, you go for the kiss. Mm-hmm. And the kiss shouldn't be this big move. It should be a gradual progression. The only reason it's on the attraction ladder is because the kiss is a social contract that says, I am 100% into you and you're 100% into me. There's no more games. Right. We're kissing. Friends don't kiss. Anything leading up to that can be still, well, maybe it's not that once you kiss, it's like, we agree on this. We're into each other. It's a contract. Mm-hmm. Then after the kiss, you go on the adventure. The adventure is basically a date. Adventure is just run the clock because some studies show that typically women need 7 hours before sex, 4 to 10 hours on average. So it's like, all right, run the clock. Take her to different places, go to bar hopping, do a lot. Even if it's a date, do multiple things, time distortion. So if you take a girl on a date and you go to 4 places, just change the scenery, psychologically, it feels like she's been on 4 dates with you. But reality, you've been on one date for said time, but it
Right.
feels like she knows you such deeper. So take her on that adventure. And then when it's right, after party or the invite, bring her back to your place. And there's a smooth way of going about that doesn't trigger a girl feeling like a slut or worrying about sex or feeling safe and protected. You have to do that correctly. You get her back to your place. Now you got to create the arousal. You got to set the mood. You got to get things right. And final rung, the 15th rung, which is in bed, everything's going well, but there's still now if you've done everything correct up to this point, you don't get the 15th rung. If you've done especially connection right, you're good. You create arousal and you're good. Sex is happening. But a lot of women might feel like there's a lot of pressure for sex to happen. One woman described it as it's like putting your life savings on roulette red and watching the ball go. And it's the same feeling. And it's like, damn, I don't want her to feel that. That's a lot of pressure.
Right.
So now the final rung is releasing the pressure, making her realize, hey, nothing happens. That's okay. And it's just like a Chinese finger trap. The more you release the pressure, the more of a sudden she becomes the aggressor and goes, well, actually, no, that. I want sex to happen. And then if she was aroused properly and you pull back, release the pressure, now she's the one like demanding. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be you're coercing and pressuring a girl into sex. It should be something at all points. It's an amazing, if you look at every rung of the attraction ladder, it's all about her from her point of view, right? This guy came to me, no awkward conversation. He's in the proper position where like I just have to give him attention. My friends are liking him, and now I'm having fun, and now it's kind of flirting. And he effortlessly got me away with my friends not being mad, and now we're building this deep connection where all of a sudden we have a date planned out. This feels good. Now it's kind of getting sexual. I like it. Now we're making out. All of a sudden we're doing all these fun, crazy things and dates, whatever. And we're going to this easy after party thing at his place. And now I'm feeling aroused and there's no pressure for sex. Of course, she's going to want to be with you. That's seduction.
Right. No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Let's talk about social circle. You emphasize building a high status social circle. How does your environment influence your dating success and emotional health?
It's huge. I mean, the social circle is how you get the highest quality women due to the kind of people you want to surround yourself with are going to introduce you to more. Birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
Also, pre-selection. We talked about evolutionary psychology and whatnot. Pre-selection is very real. It's very powerful social proof. If you have a lot of people around you, you look cool. You're connected. You're somebody people want to know. When you have a lot of attractive women around you, other women are going to want to compete for you. They're going to be triggered in seeing this because look, they could say, well, maybe I'm not attracted to him, but he's attractive. All these women want him. Is there something about, I don't know what it is, but there's something about him, right? It is a quick mechanism that just allows them to want you. At the highest level, when you dial in your social, you become a local celebrity. People know you and you don't even know who they are. Now, you don't have to go that crazy with it, but it is a very powerful mechanism about bringing people into your life, having these container events, having this amazing lifestyle so that you're not just attracting, your very lifestyle is attracting for you. It's like a business where everything's referrals. And you're just a trusted authority. Like it's just, of course you go there. Amazon, you go to Amazon. Everybody uses it. You'd be stupid. Why are you going to a random store? Go just do it on Amazon, right? It's just like, that's it.
Right.
And so when you have that kind of like lifestyle dialed down, opportunities open up for you. All of a sudden you're treated like the hot girl. Because I mean, I'll tell you something. I've gone to these masterminds and events where there's like 8-figure people make $1 million or more a month. And everybody's wearing the suit. They got the Rolex, the Louis Vuitton shoes, whatever. Right. Everybody's trying to stand out. When I walk in there with 2 to 6 gorgeous women around me, I could be the brokest guy there. Every guy wants to know who I am. Everybody wants to be like, all right, who is it? But they're guys, girls, whatever. That is going to be your biggest flex. It's social currency. So if you can be a guy that brings women around places and you can meet and befriend women and understand them better because you're literally friends with them, then most men are going to want you around. Men are pretty simple. Men value money and women. Very simple. And then also good times and good vibes and fun, right? So when you're the guy that makes it, even if you're in a relationship, it's like I'm having an event and there's all these guys out and this guy's bringing all the women. hey, it makes my party better. It makes my event better. It makes my friends are more happy, my single friends, whatever. I still want this guy around, even if you're in a relationship.
Right.
And there's something about having the feminine energy and all that. So it is currency. It is money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have gone on $10 million yachts, all expense paid trip to the Bahamas. I have been on private jets. I have had every week the number one table by the DJ spot in San Diego just given to me, worth more than my entire life savings at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you name it. And private invites to places that you didn't even know exist.
Right.
When you have this dialed in, and it doesn't have to be the club scene, by the way. A lot of people misinterpret that. I've had guys do this with acro yoga, beach volleyball, Sunday brunch, church events when they do it with their pastor and whatnot. I've had guys do it with karaoke, you name it.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the club scene. I just did the club scene in my 20s. I'm like, I want to be around where the hottest girls are, and I keep seeing them in the clubs. It's just easy. But I would really say, like, when guys want a quality woman, build up your social circle, build up your lifestyle, get the skills first so that you're not messing that up. And then when you dial that into a high degree, you will have just it's not even about women, it's just about opportunities for the guy that knows everyone has all the leverage.
Right.
You know a guy, you're getting sued, you know a guy. Your car breaks down, you know a guy. You need to make money and you need a job, you know a guy. Like my students, they never need resumes. Because if for whatever reason they lose their job, they're already dialed in their industry and know all the main people that instantly they will have work, they will have a job, they will be okay because they can leverage their friends. It's the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right. No, that's amazing. That's great. What's your advice for someone re-entering the dating world after a divorce or a long-term breakup? I think we kind of talked about this a little bit before.
I would say learn the skills. Yeah. Get out there, learn the skills, take action.
Yeah, yeah. How do you help clients move through shame, especially those who feel they've failed in love?
You only truly failed, when you quit. Until you make the decision to quit, it is impossible to lose.
What is the word? The saying? It's like you're only going to miss 100% of the shots if you don't take any.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, think of it like Bitcoin or stocks, or when it's like it's going down. If you sell, you lose until you lose money. If you give up on this when you're down, you lose. That's how you lose. You get to decide when the game is over. Nobody else. So as long as you have breath in you, how are you losing? Unless you quit. And that's a conscious decision.
Yep. What legacy do you hope to leave through your program, Modern Success, and how do you want people to feel after working with you?
Good question. I mean, my legacy, I want it to be, I change lives. I mean, there's 17 suicides that I know I prevented from this.
That's amazing. There's amazing.
Like I said, 380 something marriages, 86 or whatever marriages that I know of.
Nice.
All these children, right? I want my legacy to be that a lot of men who didn't think there was a way out of their bad lot in life were able to make meaningful transformations, not just for women, but for themselves. The biggest win that I had since starting this self-help journey, it's not even about pickup or women, it's a self-help journey. And it wasn't, sleeping with hundreds of women. It wasn't threesomes. It wasn't the cool high status parties and stuff. It wasn't even meeting the love of my life. It was the ability to wake up every day loving and respecting myself. And I never had that. I was on Zoloft. I was on antidepressants. I was deeply depressed my whole life leading up to this. And I got to be a guy that looks in the mirror and goes, like, wow, like you're amazing. And most men don't ever get to feel that. It's very interesting, the feeling of accomplishment. Some people want to be happy. If you want to be happy, shoot up heroin. You'll be very happy. Get high all the time. Take weed. Tell me you're not happy if you're high on weed, or right? I mean, you only get unhappy when the crashes and you take more, right? So if you want to get high, get a hooker. Or if you want to get happy, get a hooker and But if you want to feel accomplished, I don't know any drug in the world that gives you that feeling.
Right.
That's the feeling you have to actually earn. I don't want to be happy. I want to be accomplished. I want to feel that certain feeling that a select few people get to have. And I don't want to feel it once. I want to feel it again and again and again. Because if you're not growing, then you're dying. And I think too much of us as men, we've given into the number one killer of success, and that is content. Show me any man who is content with any aspect of his life, and I will show you a man who will never succeed in that area as long as he feels content.
Right.
If you're content with your bank account, your body fat, who you're dating, how clean you are, anything, that's it. You're done.
Right.
One of my mentors had a quote that always stuck with me, and that was, you will always be the worst version of yourself that you will allow.
Yeah.
And I urge everyone to write that down.
Yeah.
And look at all aspects of their life, through your bank account, how clean your apartment is, anything, is because that's the worst version of yourself that you will allow. Most people listening to this, they're not homeless, right? Because God forbid, if it gets that serious, all of a sudden they get into gear, they figure it out. They go, I can't allow that. I can't be homeless. What if you had that same panic when you saw 10 grand in your bank account? What if you had that when you saw 20, 100, a million? And all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I can't, whatever. We all have what if you had that? I'm not going to date anything under a 10, anything under a 7, anything under a 5. All right, fine. No chicks with dicks. There's the line. I don't know what the line is, but there's going to be a line.
Right.
So instead of just shooting for the goals, what if you raise the bar? Show me you can get, I don't like putting numbers on girls, but whatever. Show me you can get a 5, I'll show you how to get a 6.
Right.
Show me you can get a 6, I'll teach you to get a 7. Right? If you can just raise the bar, then what's the ceiling now will be tomorrow's floor.
Right. You remind me of a statement I think of when I attribute it to when guys get married and how they just the attitude after they get the ring on the finger. But what you're saying really resonates. After you it's when people are coasting, when the guy's coasting, and they usually get the ring on the finger. Oh, I don't have to do anything else. I'm good. Don't have to improve myself. I'm coasting. And then I heard it's from Joe Albertsons. He's the guy that started the Albertsons grocery stores. And he's like, if you're coasting through life, you're going downhill. And what you just described it resonates to a certain degree of that. If you're just satisfied, if everything's just hunky dory, if you don't really want to do anything else because you think everything's okay, I look at that as you're just kind of coasting along. And it's like, okay. And I just attribute that to being going downhill.
Yeah. If you allow, again, it's mind-boggling because people love to just think of everything outside of their control, but it's always in your control.
Really,
we got to focus on our sphere of control and stop worrying about anything. That's also kind of why, again, the whole red pill thing. It's just constant talking about things outside of our sphere of control. Western women are this. Modern women are this. This is the dating space. This is how it is. And it's like, what do you want me to do with this? How about I'm the exception to the rule? No, but hypergamy, Jared, hypergamy or whatever they call it. 20% of men get 80% of the women. It's unfair. Wait a minute. So you're telling me if I could be in that 20%, I can get 80% of the women? That sounds fucking awesome. You're missing the point. You gotta be jacked. All right, hold my beer. I'll be fat and do it. No, but you gotta be rich. I'll do it broke. Okay, but you're never gonna meet a good girl in Miami. I got an amazing one right here. It's so bad. I remember there was a guy when I was with Anna, and this guy comes over to do repairs, whatever, and he finds out I'm a dating coach. Anna's in the kitchen making dinner, cooking up a storm for me. And he's like, there's no good women here. There's no traditional women. You're never going to find a woman that's going to, cook for you and take care of you. And I'm like, there's literally a woman right here, half my age, cooking a delicious meal. Like you're seeing it. But he's just like, it doesn't exist here. I'm like, you're in the kitchen. That's how brainwashed it is. I was just like, what is happening?
Right.
They just don't want to understand. I met her here.
Yeah, we only see what we want to see. Yeah.
It's crazy. Reticular activation system is crazy. When you truly are when you truly just want to see this, you will block out everything.
I'm sorry. I'm just picturing in my mind, this guy is just like, blah, blah, blah. And you're going,
yes, no, it's literally, I point out, I'm like, she's literally cooking. You like you said, you won't find a girl that cooks. Well, I mean, that's, you'll never shit. I don't know. Like he was like, well, I mean, good for you, but like that's never happening for me. And I'm like, that I agree.
That
I agree.
That is a truth.
It's not
right
happening
there.
for you.
Right.
So maybe you should change it. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Right. That's what I was just going to say. You can change that, buddy. You can do something. It doesn't have to be that way. That's awesome.
Because he was huffing and puffing about like, oh, you're a dating coach, but you know as well as I do, it's impossible here to find any good girl. I'm like, no, I got one. I respectfully disagree.
He wanted you to join in his misery is what he wanted you to do.
That's welcome to the red pill.
Right.
Come join me in my misery.
Yeah, we covered a lot today. Any final comments? Where again? Let's tell everybody where they can find you and all of your free stuff.
TheModernSuccess.com. But if you want my free stuff, hit me up on Instagram at the Jared Laurence, Laurence LAURENCE, and DM me the word gift or DM me the word action, and I will massively hook you up right now. And yeah, final word, start taking this seriously. If you've been waiting for a wake-up call, treat this as your wake-up call. If this inspires one person to snap out of their days and realize, oh my God, I do have power over this. I can change my life in the dating world. I do have that control. If this podcast, this episode does for one person what me reading the game did for me, worth it. Your rock bottom right now might be the greatest thing happening to you currently.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Thank you. Jared reminded us today that starting over isn't a setback, it's a strategy. Whether you're healing from heartbreak or stepping into a new chapter, the tools are out there and it starts with action. Thank you for joining me on the Glen Gilbert Connection. If this episode moved you, like it, share it, and keep showing up for yourself and for those who need your voice. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep building the life you love and deserve. Thank you so much for your time, Jared. I again truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.